Do it. I only want your acknowledgement. You're getting it. Stop being such an attention whore, President Darth Dan. I've been thinking about events since 11/19 with the glitches and weird price action. Methinks maybe a margin call might have happened and we're in reconciliation window. 5 days. Thoughts? Yeah, I think it's possible. That's kind of what I noted in the end of the day for the DD yesterday. Um, was that if you had to show me, I don't know if all you guys read it, but if you had to show me evidence of like a dip before a rip, right? Like that initial dip that tends to uh, precede a short squeeze. I would say that like some of the data points, the arbitrage, the price decline on low volume that we've seen over the last week or so, these missed deferrals and this like unresolved exposure, all of those kind of point to that maybe being the case. I mean, like I don't want to I don't want to expand on it or expound on it too much because I feel like people are just going to get needlessly bullish and YOLO, and I don't want people to do that because like obviously it's just like a feeling and it's not a there's not a lot of evidence to support it, right? But um something's happening, right? Like there's too many like weird uh I don't want to call them like ghosts in the machine, but like there's all this like evidence of the higher SI popping up, all these shares to borrow out of the blue, um, and when we start seeing like discrepancies in the data like that, that's like kind of a lot of what like preceded Volkswagen's squeeze that preceded the crash in '08 for like a few months before the crash in '08 happened. All these weird data points would come up and they were just marked as glitches and everyone ignored them, but they were there, right? There was actually a guy who wrote a really good article about like all this weird shit that kept popping up before it happened, and like he was making like a log. I think he worked at Goldman at the time, but he wrote like a blog about it later. Insert VW squeeze chart. I mean, yeah, that's another thing is we're not seeing a lot of shorts borrowed either, right? Um, which indicates that someone's not doing what they've been doing for the last 6 months. And I have some theories on what's happening, but they're unsubstantiated, right? First off, I think it's possible that their volatility swaps and their single stock futures were unable to be rolled, right? I think they needed the liquidity that got tied up with retail options FOMO last week. So when retail FOMOed into these options, I think they needed that liquidity not only to cover GEX, but they needed it to roll. And while they may not have been rolling GME futures, leading to that price increase, they were likely rolling their variance swaps. And so, if they were unable to roll all of the futures that they have on the stock due to illiquidity in the spot market, the lit market, they could have gotten some extensions and stuff, but failing to roll those kind of blows up their position, right? Because they need those futures to hedge, and to maintain their margin. And so if they failed, it's possible that there could be a margin call like in the works. And maybe that's why we're seeing, these big discrepancies in shares to borrow coming in from Vanguard, I guess. Is like Vanguard's a big share lender, and if they recalled their shares due to, failed allocates, then we may be seeing some price action related to that in the future. Tell us your unsubstantiated theories. You said Gmail hasn't really turned it around as far as actual business model. I mean, they haven't, right? They've shut down some stores. Their cash flow is better. EPS is still negative. They're not a tech company yet. They're not fully an e-commerce company yet. So yeah, their turnaround is still in its infancy. Um, Clip it? Sure. How long was it? I don't even know.